We are going live. Are we live?
I think we're live. Yes, we're live.
Perfect.
Hello, hello. Can people hear us?
So we're just making sure that the sound is okay. Hello, hello. Test, test.
Let's talk a bit.
So, yeah, just give a quick introduction for those of you who don't know us. We're Elsie and Markus. We do property development in the UK. I've done a couple of projects. We regularly document. That's what all our YouTube channel is about. We work with investors, creating passive income for them, beating the banks, beating that inflation, and making crappy houses and make them look nice again. That's what we do. And yeah, today we thought we'd give you a live stream about the buying process. So the whole point of today is explaining the buying process, how it works in the UK. So we have some audience that is overseas, and you guys would like to know how does it work in the UK. But also for people in the UK who haven't bought a property before, it might be relevant if you're looking for your first buy-to-let property, first investment property. Might be might be a good idea to pull out pen and paper and put down some notes. So we go through that. We have a little bit of an agenda, and we don't want to take too much time out of your busy day today. Yeah, so maybe we just
let's jump right into it. So obviously the first process is, well, the first stage of this process is putting in offer. This is for anyone who is going through the typical, standard way of buying. You found a property on the market on Rightmove or Zoopla, and got in touch with the agent. You did a viewing already, and you've done your numbers, and you like the property, you want to buy it, and this is when you put in the offer. So one tip here when you're putting in an offer is, after you have put in the offer via the phone, so that's a verbal offer, what we do usually is we send in a email offer as well. So we put it down into writing as an email, and we send it over to the estate agent. So sometimes if you're buying in Scotland, there's something called the closing date. And this is when agents, they want to potential buyers to send in their offers by a certain deadline. So for example, you're told to send in your offer on Wednesday, 12 p.m. And that has to be done by a solicitor. So that's when you should have already been in touch with your solicitor and have your solicitor send over the address, the offer that you want to make, and tell your solicitor what the deadline is, and have them send over the offer by email. And so this closing date in Scotland, it's called best and final offers. In England, how it works, same thing, you will be given a deadline, and you have to send in your offer via your solicitor.
Yeah. Then the next point is about emailing the team. So emailing the team, what is it really?
Well, this is just before you continue. This is right after your offer has been accepted, right?
Yeah. So going to the next. So after you've put in the offer, it has been accepted either verbally or through the solicitor. Then you're emailing your team again, making everyone aware that you are going ahead and buy this property. And by team, we mean that is again your solicitor, because it can be that the estate agent is directly in touch with your solicitor, or if not, you need to make sure that they are aware. So you tell them, this is the property that we're buying. It's this address. It's on with this agent. For the price agreed is X thousand pounds. And then they start asking you for more information. And the second person that you want to email is probably your broker. Most likely you will buy a property with mortgage. So for this purpose, we're just assuming you buy with a mortgage. You tell your broker, this is the property we're buying, this is the agreed price, and then can you now arrange the mortgage for me? Having said that, it's wise for you to get a decision in principle. So that is, you would go to a bank beforehand or to your broker who approaches several banks and see how much lending do you get for your individual circumstances. It's different if you buy residential or if you buy a buy-to-let. So you need to make your broker aware what do you want to do with that property, but they can obviously advise further. But those are the two people that you would email. It's your broker arranging the finance, and it's your solicitor for arranging the purchase.
So the next point is that's right after your solicitor has received your email, and this is when they will start their side of the work. And usually you would have to pay a little bit upfront, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your solicitor will do searches. So that is about the drainage, about all the background searches.
Yeah, land contamination, flood risk, and all of that.
Yeah, and so all these things cost money, so you probably have to pay some couple of £100 upfront, which goes to buying all those reports.
Yeah. So actually, solicitors, they are really the core of this whole process because they are the one liaising with the seller solicitor, and if you are buying using finance, then they are also liaising with the lenders, the bank's solicitor. So your solicitor actually sit in the middle, right in the middle of everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Then it's about the broker. So when the broker starts doing his work, it's about finding the right mortgage for your circumstance. So as I already said, either you already have a decision in principle from a certain lender, then, either you or the broker arranges that mortgage that you have already been accepted on, or you start the process and get that whole mortgage arranged for you after your offer has been accepted. The broker usually needs some information about you, about the property. It's a lot of back and forth so they sit in the middle for the lender, getting an offer from the lender, and then in between you as well, getting all that information that the lender is asking. So it's always a constant back and forth, and that process goes on until that mortgage offer has been issued, really.
And actually, one very big asterisk here is when you're buying something through auction, you want to make sure that this whole process has been done before you put in an offer, or right before you put in the bid. So you need to have your finances already in place. You need to already have instructed your solicitor, and they have already gone through the legal pack when you are buying at auction. So just a big note here. Yeah, and the next stage is actually when your work starts. So you as a property investor, soon to be landlord, this is when you need to start phoning up your insurance broker. You need to start arranging for your building's insurance, and also arranging for survey. So there are typically, 3 types of survey, and the most common one is a home buyer's report. So up in Scotland, before you even view a property, you can already ask for the home report to be sent to you, and that is being paid by the seller. However, down here in England, you as the buyer has to pay for such a report. So what we do is, because we usually buy, smelly, rundown property, sometimes even uninhabitable, we don't really see value in a home buyer's report, because what they would write there is, oh, the kitchen is outdated, it needs upgrading, the plumbing needs upgrading, the electrics need upgrading. Like, yeah, we know that we are going to rip a house apart, and we're gonna upgrade everything anyways. So what we normally do is another kind of survey. It's the structural survey. So we want to have a professional in to check on the structural integrity of the property, because that's where the most costly repairs would be made.
Yeah, and that report basically tells us, is the property structurally sound? Is there subsidence anywhere? So those are the big ticket items. We already know we have to replace the kitchens, electrics, and plumbing, as Elsie said. But maybe we're missing that there's a little bit of subsidence. And what about this crack that is there? Is that a serious crack or not? And that's why we only go for the structural survey. But if you go and buy a property that just maybe needs a light refurbishment, then and is already inhabited, and it's perfectly fine because someone is living in there, then maybe you don't need the structural survey, but just a home buyer's report just to check over the electrics and all those things that we would rip out.
Yeah. So I think there is also a valuation report, right? So like a valuation survey is usually carried out by the lender. So as you can see, the previous step, when the broker job starts, they would give you options and you can pick whichever lender. So when you have decided to go with a lender, they will either do like a desktop valuation, or they would carry out a physical. So they would do a site visit. They will go in and look at the property, and then they will evaluate how much that property is worth and how much they can lend on based on that valuation report. So yeah, that's it. And the next stage, this is probably the stage where you spend the most amount of time here.
Yeah, you get to have a look at a lot of documents that you need to sign. You get those from your broker and from your solicitor. There we go. That's the word. And you would think that everything just goes in one transaction and you have signed everything and everything is fine. But in reality, it might be a little bit of a back and forth. And just in the last minute, the lender asks for this one more document that you need to get witnessed by a local solicitor and then hand delivered. So it can be a bit of a pain, but just make sure that you respond to all your inquiries from your broker and from your solicitor. Read everything, sign everything, and return it quickly so that you're not the bottleneck. But as I said, just don't expect everything to come to you in one go. It rarely happens.
Yeah. So, that of course is a big exception for auctions. So for step 3 to 4, I would say, you would be expected to have carried out step 3 to 4 right before you put in the bid, or right before the auction. You can put in an offer prior to auction. So if you guys are looking for tips on how to buy auction property in the UK, I've linked it in the description box down below, so do check it out. So at a very traditional auction, you have probably 21 days or 28 days to complete everything. So by the time you reach this stage, sign and send, you're probably close, very, very close to completion. So we usually exchange and complete on the same day. So if it's so last point when it comes to completion, so the traditional method of buying a property, from the market through an estate agent, we will exchange and complete on the same day, because once you exchange, if you were to pull out, you would have to pay penalties. But if you haven't exchanged yet, any party can pull out, and there is no penalty involved. You have probably dragged on too much time. You have spent some money on the searches, on the survey, but that's about it. So yeah, right at the end.
Yeah, and a lot of people buy um, by first exchanging and then completing, as Elsie said. So usually on exchange there is 5-10% deposit payable to your solicitor. If you have those two on the same date, then we just buy the whole amount on the same day because we exchange and complete on the same day. There's virtually no difference for us. We're not paying 10% upfront. We just pay 100% minus what the lender is giving us. And then, yeah, then the property has completed.
Yeah. So I mean,
Property transaction.
before that, so you will hear from your solicitor. Okay, hi guys. We have now set a completion date. In 2 weeks. And this is when you can actually transfer your funds over to your solicitor, and hopefully, everything goes as planned. There is no last minute shockers, and you can complete on that day that is proposed by your solicitor. So then, once completion is done on the same day, you should receive an email from your solicitor telling you where to pick up the keys. And yeah, just go for it. Collect
Usually
the
at
keys.
the estate agent.
Yeah, usually
that
at
has sold the property.
estate agent, get the keys and pop a champagne.
Just make sure that the estate agent knows that. So the estate agent also needs to get informed by the solicitor. We have come several times to an estate agent because we got the call from the solicitor that we have completed, but the estate agent hasn't been informed yet. So then you stand in the office saying, well, we're here to pick up the keys, only for them to say, well, we haven't gotten informed yet. And then they do call the solicitor confirming if you can already pick up the keys.
Yeah. So we have some time for some live Q&A. It's been probably 20 minutes now, so we'll try to wrap up. Hopefully that this won't take long. So we have one question here from Himanshu. Hey, electrical, water, and boiler and structural checks only.
Is that about the survey?
Yeah, is this about the survey? So usually these are the big ticket items in a refurb. So if you want to do a rewire, it could be 2 to 3 grand for a 2 or 3 bed house. So electrics, that's for electrics, and then boiler. Replacing a boiler can be costly. So you want to make sure that if the boiler still works, or is it outdated. So usually when we see like a analog clock on a boiler, we would replace it. So a new boiler would have like digital display and stuff like that. You don't know how long the previous owner has had the boiler for, so it's always good to start off with a new boiler.
Yeah.
If you're gonna keep the property for a long time.
So for those checks, I guess the question goes into, is it just about the property? So those are the checks that we do, looking what does the property look like. And when it comes to checking like the title and the boundary of the property, that is usually what the solicitor does. Obviously, you would probably also check, well, is there access from the road? But a solicitor would point that out where they say, well, this boundary line doesn't look like you have access from the road. Are you sure you want to buy that?
I think the solicitor also checks for like your right of way, or is there shared access for the bins or to the back of your of the house, stuff like that. So has there been any historic conflicts or any covenants, all this stuff is done by the solicitor.
And also other checks like, is the title okay, or are there any restrictive covenants on there? So for example, we have come across a property where it was sold by, I think, was it sold by the council, or at least the council had an interest on the property, and every time the property gets sold for the next 30 years, they would get part of the profits from it. So your solicitor would point out these things. Obviously, you wouldn't see that because it's written in the title, and sometimes you would probably also not understand what it means, and that's why you pay a solicitor.
Yeah.
Also, if there are any debts on the property, you don't see that by looking at the walls and the roof and the kitchen. That is written in the title again.
Yeah, so any other questions that you guys have, just leave them in the comments below. So not in the live chat, but in the comments. If you have liked this video, give it a like. And if you're new here, Elsie and Markus, we are posting a lot more videos like this, answering your questions, sharing our project updates. So make sure you subscribe. And yeah, thank you so much. T Changa, I think it's Tawonga. He's saying great content. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in today for our live stream. We hope to do more live stream like this. So yeah, send over any questions that you guys have and we'll put together something. So yeah, that's it for
then we
today.
wrap it up for today.
Yeah.
And thanks for popping by.
Thanks guys. Bye.
See you later.